feel that public school students being forced to sit through history lessons that teach them to hate America and brand some of us as racist, do you think that's a major problem, a somewhat of a problem, a minor problem, or not a problem at all?
Um, that is a very good question.
Yeah.
It's a very, and it's complicated too, because
Yeah.
it really depends on certain schools I'm in the state of Nevada,
Uh-huh.
and they I wouldn't say they're classifying people as racist. I think they're telling
Uh-huh.
them more. The internet is giving the children more access to knowledge of what's going on in the past that they did not know that was going on. And I think that they're seeing more. The adults are seeing more. Like Emmett Till, I asked my mother about it, and she didn't know about that. He was a teenage boy that was basically killed by racist white men. She did not. They
Yeah.
did not tell people that. She's learning at her older age that he was a young man. He wasn't a grown man. And so I
Yeah.
think the reason why, and also about the first man that went to the moon, that the woman that they made a movie about, the black women, we did not know that they helped with NASA and different things. The knowledge that's out now is so different. And I
Yeah.
think it's because of social media and different things going on, is that people are starting to do more research, and they're starting to see, oh, they did discriminate. Oh, this is racist. Oh, this. So it's like I said, it's a lot more complicated than
Yeah.
it was before, because we didn't have the
Oh,
internet. We
yeah.
had to just go on our history book. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
could skip that question. I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest.
Okay. I could put don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go to the next one.
And I know where you're coming from. I happen to be 62 years old, and we were taught what we were taught in school, and that was it.
Right.
And
now
and
you
it went
now you
back.
can go on YouTube, or you can go and Google something, and it'll give you all this information. They're
Twitter,
making
all
movies
these things.
now.
Yep. hmm And so, what about our schools not having the resources and funding they need to teach our children well? Do you think that is a major problem, somewhat of a problem, a minor problem, or not a problem at all?
Major problem.
Okay. And mental health struggles among students because of the pandemic.
Major 5, 10, I mean, whatever is the max amount. Yes. That is,
Yes,
yes.
major problem.
Mhm.
Governors who... Do you have children? How old are your children?
I don't have children.
Oh, you sound so young.
I know.
Well, you might be a mom, just not of young children.
Right.
Okay. You sound very young. How about governors who panicked and closed our schools, interrupting learning and putting some children behind?
Well,
Did the schools in your community get closed?
yes,
Because a
they
lot of
did.
surveys-
They did. Yeah,
A lot of people say in different states, they say they weren't even closed.
that's so
I
true.
was really shocked at that.
I know Governor Sisolak. I don't know him personally, but I keep up to date what he does. And
I'm in Nevada too. You're in Nevada then, if you have
yes,
Sisolak.
yes, I'm in Nevada, and
And our schools were closed.
right. So how I feel about that? Listen, the pandemic really caused so much confusion, and depending on what you listen to and who you watch on the news and who you look to online, it's so much confliction, so much misinformation everywhere. So my
There
thing,
is.
it is, it really is. And my thing is, with the children, they were saying that children can't really pass it, and they have minor symptoms. If they do get it, it's not a big deal. My thing is, what about the parents? What about the grandparents? They're going around other children, and they can bring that home. So
Yep.
you know what? That's complicated too. So I would just really say one thing about that is Do I feel like he should have did that? Yes, I do.
Yes.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
not extreme. Like I feel like the school district in Nevada is so bad anyways. I mean, these
Yeah.
kids are not even graduating
It is
before
because
COVID.
I think we are at the bottom of the list of academics.
We are at the very bottom, like number 50 out of the 50 states.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Wow. Yeah. So, do you feel that mental health struggles among students because of the pandemic have caused, or it is a major problem, a somewhat of a problem, or a minor problem?
It's a major problem.
Yeah. Okay. The next one says governors who panicked and closed our schools, interrupting learning and putting some children behind. Do you think that was a major problem, somewhat of a problem, or a minor problem, or not a problem at all?
It was a major problem. It's still a major problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, to be honest.
It's a major problem, I feel, because parents don't know how to homeschool, really.
They don't.
So, politicians and parents threatening to sue and fine teachers for covering certain material. Do you think that's a major problem? Somewhat of a problem, minor problem, or not a problem at all?
Wait, so I don't understand the question. What do you mean by that?
If politicians and parents are threatening to sue and give teachers a fine for covering certain material, like the Martin Luther King march, anything with slavery, any of that. They
Are they doing that? Is that what they're doing now?
Well, that's what these surveys are saying. I don't think they can do that yet. But if these laws pass, they might be able to do that. And I think that's ridiculous because the kids, I feel like they need to know the past. They need to know history.
Of course. So they're trying to pass. Okay, you're saying. Okay, let me get it straight. You're saying the teachers are covering up or not teaching the kids history, especially Black history.
Exactly. And I happen to be Mexican, and they teach. I just feel like I'm African American too. I feel like because I'm Mexican, they discriminate against me all the time. So they want to sue and fine teachers for covering certain material. Like they don't want them to teach Martin Luther King and slavery and anything in the past. So do you feel that's a major problem?
Yeah, I didn't know they were considering that.
Yeah. But what's that one? Oh shoot! What is it? Race theory. Something.
Race theory. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for this one, do you want me to put that it is a major problem?
Yes, major problem.
Okay. And the teacher shortage due to teachers leaving the profession because they are burned out and tired. And I know here in Nevada, they did close the schools.
Yes,
Other places that are doing the surveys, they didn't even close the schools.
Wow. That's crazy.
Back east. They were the surveys back east.
Wow.
But what do you think that's a major problem?
Major problem.
They are burned out and tired?
Yes.
Okay. And politicians who try to ban books, these are politicians trying to ban books that they disagree with from the school library.
What? Is this really happening?
Yes. And a lot of them have to do now with, like,
transsexual and asexual and pansexual and
and the politicians are trying to ban books on that. So is that a major problem? Somewhat of a problem or a minor problem according to your
So they don't want to teach kids about the other types of, the transsexuals and LGBTQT community.
Exactly. Well, the politicians, they want to ban the books altogether, not have them even in the libraries, at the schools.
How can they do this? That's a
So would
major
that be
problem. Yes, you're right. That's a major
yeah?
problem.
Okay. The next one says politicians trying to make public schools the next political and cultural battleground. I don't know why schools got involved with politicians. I don't know. But they want to make it the next battleground. Do you feel that is a major problem?
When you say
Somewhat of a problem.
battleground, can you kind of explain a little bit more? What do you mean by that?
Well, yeah, because if you don't agree with that transgender children are they just born that way, they want to make it get all the information out of school, and so it's a battleground because some people want that information out, some people don't. So it's going to be like, well, they should be there, it shouldn't be there. You know, that kind of a battleground. Do you think that should be in there with along with everything else, that the children should be allowed to read about that at least?
Well, are you asking me, is that going to be a major problem? Them
Yes.
trying to ban that?
Major
Yes.
problem, or somewhat of a problem.
Major
Or-
problem.
Okay, major. Thank you.
I can't believe that.
Let's see. Politicians passing laws that prevent teachers from covering our full history, including slavery and civil rights movement and racism.
What? That's a major
Yeah.
problem. So, oh my, I didn't know this was going on. I'm so happy that you called me right now because I'm learning a lot right now. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, because this is like, how much of a problem are the following issues? Well, that would be a major problem, I would think, because
It is.
even me being Mexican, don't be dogging me.
Right?
Teachers and school administrators who prevent parents from getting involved in the classroom. Do you think that is happening in your community?
Wait, say the question again?
Teachers and school administrators who prevent parents from getting involved in the classroom.
When did that start? What about parent-teacher conferences?
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know if that's happening because my children are grown and out of my house. I'm 62. So I don't know if that's happening in your area. Are you being told you cannot get involved with the classroom?
I
Or
think
do
you
still have the
can.
minor?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
still can right now. Yeah, but they're trying to stop it, right?
Well, no. This is just saying if it is happening, if you don't think it's happening, it is not a problem at all. So I would mark you down for that.
Okay.
If you think if it's a minor problem where you haven't been able to talk to the teachers or whatever, I would put that. But if it's not a problem at all,
Well, with COVID and everything, it's I guess it's a little bit more difficult because a lot of people don't want to meet in person anymore. It's all virtual. So, but if the question is,
teachers and school administrators who prevent parents. So
that is a
your
major
school-
problem. That if they're preventing parents to go and talk to teachers and administration, yeah.
Oh, it is? That's awful.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that would be. I would think you'd be able to go talk to teachers whenever
Well,
you wanted.
I think with COVID now, and I just watched on Facebook they had a teachers conference, not teachers, the CCSD school
Clark
district.
County School District.
Right. They just had a meeting like a week ago, and I watched it because they had it streaming online, and they were going over different budgets and different things going on with the school district. And a lot of people are really upset about the whole pandemic and the mask mandate, and about, I guess they're changing the food at the cafeteria, and they're doing a lot of different things. But I think they are maybe preventing parents to go into the classroom because of COVID. And yeah, I think they are preventing them.
Do you have young children that are in school? Or
No, I don't. I have friends, and I also just keep up to date what's going on in Nevada since I live here.
Okay. And so this is a major problem then?
Yes, it is.
yeah, I guess it would be if you can't go in there because of COVID. Yeah,
Right.
that would be a major problem.
Mm-hmm.
And students falling behind because schools closed and learning was interrupted because of the pandemic. So do you see that much that kids are falling behind
Right, they are.
because of the pandemic?
I
Would
know
that be
someone that has a teenager and he's falling behind.
Is that a
So,
major problem, Susie?
major.
I would say,
Yes.
yeah. And the rise of extreme parents and other outside groups protesting at schools and interrupting school board meetings. Have you
That's
seen that?
happening so much. Oh my God. The other day I saw a video. This man was actually physically dragged out of the meeting for the school. I forgot what state it was in. But the other couple months ago with the mask mandate, these parents came in there and they went to the CCSD, the little meeting that they had, and they got in a heated conversation about mask mandate and about kids not being coming back in the classroom. They almost got physical. So it's getting crazy, right?
No,
Yeah, they got almost
it
physical.
is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel that is a major problem then?
A major problem. Yes.
Okay. And as you may know, your state legislature recently began their annual legislative session. Here are a few now quote unquote suggested laws that have been debated. Please tell me whether you strongly support, somewhat oppose, or strongly oppose each quote unquote potential law. The first potential law is a law requiring teachers to be impartial and teach that no side was better than the other when it comes to history, like American slavery and the Holocaust and even Nazism.
Okay.
Well, this is saying the teacher has to teach all that, but not take sides.
Just teach it. So what's the actual question?
That was a law. A law. This isn't a law yet. If it was a law requiring teachers to be impartial, not to take sides, and teach that no side was better than the other. Just teach the facts of American slavery, the Holocaust, and Nazism. Would you strongly support a teacher teaching that? Somewhat support, somewhat oppose, or strongly oppose that? Well, that's just saying that the teacher can't say, oh, they were wrong. These people were wrong. They just have to teach the facts.
Usually that's what they usually, well, not nowadays, but, you know what? I know they're trying to have the kids or the students to be able to think on their own, so they make their own opinion on things. So, that's a hard question kind of too, because you don't want to be biased in certain things too, you know what I'm saying? But, wrong is wrong,
Yes.
I would say, can I skip that one?
I could put don't know. Or
Don't know.
refuse.
Don't know. It's kind of complicated because I go back and forth with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what about a law that would make it a felony for a teacher to teach material dealing with racism and sexual identity, and some parents may think as obscene?
No, that's bad. So what's the options?
You would strongly oppose that law?
Strongly, very strongly, yes.
Okay. And making sure critical race theory, that's that one. Critical race theory is not taught in our public schools.
Okay, so
You strongly support that. That means you would be against teaching critical race theory, or strongly oppose that.
Strongly oppose that.
It would be okay to teach that. Okay.
Right.
And removing books from the curriculum that deal with Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington or the Civil Rights Movement.
To take that away?
Yeah, take away the books.
Strongly oppose that.
Strongly oppose that, okay. A law requiring teachers and school counselors to tell parents if a student confides that they are gay or transgender.
To do what with that? What's the question?
This is like a law that requires that teachers or counselors, school counselors, that they are made to tell parents if the student, if their child is gay or transgender, after the child confides in the teacher or counselor that they are.
Make a law? Oh no! Strongly oppose that. No, what world are these people getting these? Okay.
I know. Well, these are potential laws, but yeah, that's like, isn't that like when you go to the hospital and you don't want anybody to know your business?
Right.
That type of thing. Yeah, even your parents, you know.
Wow.
I don't know. Preventing teachers from covering subject matter that may make some students and families uncomfortable, like racism, slavery, or the Holocaust.
Oppose, strongly oppose.
And creating a hotline for parents and other members of the community to call if they believe teachers are teaching controversial or divisive subjects.
A hotline?
Yeah, for parents and other members. So I guess they just call each other and complain.
I'm sorry, it's not really funny. Who are you guys? I mean, so they would actually create a hotline, a 1-800 number you can call.
Yeah. You got it. Yep. I don't know why they would need a hotline.
I really don't know how to answer that question. I'd say I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, that's a weird question. I don't.
Yeah. What about if they law that fines teachers personally if they teach subjects and material that contradict the values taught at home?
What?
How do you know each student's at home values? I mean, come on.
I don't know. I mean, that's weird.
And then you're gonna find the teacher.
Oh no, opposed to that. No, of course not.
Okay.
I mean, that just. Okay. I'm trying to wrap my head around these weird questions because I mean, who's thinking about this stuff? Who would want to make this stuff a law?
Confusing. And I'm just happy to say I did not write this survey. but yeah, I live in Las Vegas, so.
I live in Las Vegas too.
Okay, so a law requiring, these are potential laws, requiring schools to put cameras in the classrooms so parents can monitor teaching instruction.
That might be a good idea. I would go. Yeah. What's the medium one for that?
You would somewhat support that.
Somewhat. Okay. Because I think that would stop a lot of confusion. Because you're at work and you could just log into a thing and see your child and be like, you know what, you can see who's doing what. That kind of might be good. Yeah,
exactly.
I might. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. A law requiring teachers to post their full lesson plans for the entire year, including the books and the guest speakers on the internet a month before school year begins, or they could be sued, so that the parents can review everything that's going to be taught.
Okay, for what? Okay, I liked everything until the sue part. Why they want to sue everybody and get a felony?
Exactly. Why? Yeah. So this says that a whole year before they start school, the teachers have to give the parents all this information, or else they could be sued.
Oppose, strongly oppose.
Strongly oppose. Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous too.
Jesus.
And here are a few statements about these issues. Please indicate overall if you agree or disagree with each on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means you strongly disagree, and 10 means you strongly agree. 5 means you are neutral. The first one is educators should make school and classroom decisions about curriculum, not the politicians. You know how I said
True.
before the politicians are trying to ban
Right. I think
books
it's
and stuff.
right. The politicians shouldn't be involved in schools. Yeah.
Not politicians. Just the educators should
Right.
make the
The
school and
educators.
classroom.
Right.
So would you strongly agree with that?
Yes, I strongly agree.
And on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being strongly agree, would you say a 10?
10. Yes.
Okay. And teachers should be able to cover age-appropriate material on our history to make sure children do not miss out on what really happened during slavery and the civil rights movement.
Strongly agree. 10.
Okay. And if students are denied information about our full history, including American slavery and racism, they cannot fully learn from our past. Do you agree?
10. Agree. Yes.
Okay. Public school students should not be forced to sit through uncomfortable lessons around sexual identity, sexual orientation, and transgender issues.
You said
I don't know if
student.
they are being forced.
They are you asking? Should they be forced to?
Yes. Should they be? Oh, should not be forced to sit through?
Oh,
the
not.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. You know what? I think they should leave it up to the parents. So
Yeah.
that's a complicated question.
Would you
Yeah.
want to be neutral on that?
Neutral. Yeah. Let's say neutral.
Okay. And let's see here. No teacher should face a lawsuit or the threat of arrest just for doing their job teaching an accurate and age-appropriate history lesson.
True. 10.
10. And parents should not be able to ban books from school libraries and deny other families their choices in what books their children have access to.
True. 10. Right.
Okay. Alrighty. And here's more information about the candidates for governor in your state. The Republican candidate says we need to remove politics from the classroom. Too many teachers are bringing their personal views to their lessons, including teaching about critical race theory that focuses on what is wrong with America and says some of us are racist and some of us are victims. The Republican will work to keep these political lessons out of our classrooms. Is that a very convincing, somewhat convincing, not too convincing, or not at all convincing reason to support the Republican candidate?
Is that what he said?
The Republican.
What?
Yeah, too many teachers are bringing their personal views into the lessons. So, including critical race theory. And so, let's see here. The Republican will work to keep these political lessons out of our classroom. So this would keep that critical race theory out of our classrooms.
Out. Okay, so I don't like that. So
It removes the politics out of the classroom. So would this be a reason to support the Republican?
It don't sound like I really like this guy. Is he the only Republican running? It's other Republicans, right?
It actually doesn't say the guy's name. It just says, because different Republicans will run for the office, so
Right.
It's not naming a name. But if this Republican were to say this, would it be not too convincing or not at all convincing reason to vote for them?
Not convincing.
Not too or not at all?
Not at all.
Okay. And then here's what the Democrats say about this issue. They say during these tough times, it is the governor's job to solve problems and come up with solutions.
You got that right.
The real issues parents, teachers, and students care about are solving the teacher shortage with full-time, passionate teachers, finding funding for mental health support for children, and providing one-on-one tutoring to keep students on pace. Other candidates can complain and criticize, but Democratic governors are going to work to find solutions. Is that a very convincing?
Very convincing. Very convincing.
Oh, okay. I will put that down. And so here's another issue that might come up this year in your state. The Republican candidate for governor says parents deserve transparency in our schools. Parents have a right to know what's being taught to their children, and teachers should be required to post their lesson plans and covered books on the internet weeks before school starts so parents can review it. And they say there should be a hotline parents can call if teachers are covering divisive or uncomfortable material. This will show respect for parents and keep them involved. Do you think that's very convincing, somewhat convincing, not too convincing, or not at all convincing?
Somewhat convincing.
Okay. This is the one where it says there should be a hotline that parents can call.
As long as, no one's going to jail or getting a felony. I mean, if they want to create a hotline so they don't call a school district and, be cussing out the teacher,
Yeah.
Right. I mean.
I keep saying complain, but I mean the B word. I hope I'm not being monitored right now.
This is crazy. People are actually thinking about doing all of this. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. So the Democratic candidate says they will listen to parents and teachers because our public schools work best when parents and teachers collaborate on what children need. The truth is, parents and teachers are already working together with more transparency now than ever before in our public schools. So parents can see the curriculum on back to school night, and parents can and do request regular meetings to go over their child's progress. This candidate will oppose these additional burdens and stand up to an agenda that divides parents from teachers. And is that a very convincing, somewhat convincing, not too convincing, or not at all convincing reason to support the Democratic candidate?
Did you say divide the parents from the teachers?
No. This says that the Democratic candidates say they will listen to parents and teachers because our public schools work best when parents and teachers collaborate.
Oh, okay. So I strongly believe in that, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very convincing.
Mm-hmm. Very convincing, yes.
And here are some positions a Democratic candidate for governor might support when it comes to public schools in your community. Using the scale from 0 to 10, please indicate how much you personally support each position. 0 means that you do not support it at all. 10 means that you support it very much. And you can use any number in between.
Okay.
So the first one says, making sure children who are falling behind due to COVID get an individualized learning plan to catch up with their peers.
I strongly agree with that. Yes. Is that 10?
Strongly support.
Yeah, strongly support. Yes.
Strongly support. Making sure public schools are fully funded and no public school money is being diverted for private or religious school vouchers.
Strongly agree. 10.
And making sure schools respect the voice of teachers when it comes to curriculum and school management.
Yes. 10.
Making sure schools can hire and teach good teachers and overcome the teacher shortage so that students can get the attention they need.
10.
And then making sure teachers have the freedom and support they need to teach age-appropriate lessons on America's racial and cultural diversity.
10.
and making sure there are resources to help parents who want to know how to teach the curriculum at home.
Okay. Yes,
And
definitely.
making sure schools have enough counselors to help with children's mental health during these tough times.
10.
Right? And here are some statements a Democratic candidate for governor might make in your state. Tell me whether each is a very convincing, somewhat convincing, not too convincing, or not at all convincing reason to support that candidate for governor. If you are not sure how you feel about a particular item, just say so. The first one says there's only three of these. No matter what we look like or where we live, we all want the same thing, strong public schools. But many politicians want to divide us by teaching accurate, age-appropriate history lessons from our children, and students miss out when schools don't cover racism or the civil rights movement. All of our children, no matter what they look like,
Even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.
Is that a very
Sir,
sorry, talking so
Oh, it's okay.
Is that a very convincing?
Very
somewhat
convincing.
or not? Very?
Very convincing.
Oh my God,
You could
my
take
cough
some.
will not go away.
Oh no, you take some water if you have some or something to drink.
Yeah, I do. My daughter tells me all the time on the phone, Mom, I hate when you go, go.
That's fine. If you need to, just take a little break.
What?
Take a little break. And something.
And then my whole job, 8 hours of talking, is like, it wears out. And so the next thing
Why is it so packed in here on a Sunday?
Culture
Huh?
wars to our schools have a dangerous agenda. The same politicians who want to control what teachers teach also want to privatize our schools. The same politicians who want to censor books want to cut school budgets, meaning fewer teachers and bigger class sizes. Now we must advocate for our teachers like they do for our children and strengthen our schools. Is that a very
Yeah, I love your mask, by the way. You guys have
not too convincing or not at all convincing?
Very convincing.
Okay. And the last one says, Republicans keep talking about ways to divide parents and teachers, but we need to talk about issues that our community is really facing. We have a teacher shortage and need to keep passionate teachers in schools.